Welcome to automation. Do you ever have difficulty designing cars in automation? Well, today we're going to make and test drive some cars in BeamNG without ever touching a single button for the cars in automation. How are we going to do this? With the power of AI. Some people think that all human labor will be replaced by AI. No one will hold a real job once the computers take over. Today we're going to find out if that's true by testing the AI capabilities of designing a car in a video game. How does this work? Well, it's simple. First, you can't do this in the car designer. You have to go into campaign mode. Since we're letting the computers do everything for us, I'll make a random company name. UE1 Motorworks. That's the name of our corporation run by a computer. And just for reference, I've got our tech pool set to 0, and competition set to 100%, and infinite money. I won't be actually manufacturing these cars or making factories, but we'll be able to see how these cars compare to the other cars that are also AI generated. Now, once we are here, in-game, we simply choose Generate a Car and Edit, or make sure this little box down here is ticked, AI Car Generation, and all we have to do is pick a demographic, and the game will do it for us. I'm going to start off with a Grand Tourer, a prestigious all-around performance car with no real weaknesses or compromises. A great place to start a company off. AI generation in progress. Please wait. Your engineers are hard at work, designing the cars and engines to the best of their abilities. We'll see if that's true in a moment. It broke. It's taking a little while, so I'm playing Idlescape. I have 1,543 mithril. Alright, time to see what came out of the oven. This is not what I had in mind. You'll notice it's not scoring as well as the average car generated by the AI in the GT market because it has a 15% body type penalty. Yes, it's chosen for the GT market a sedan, which they're supposed to hate. Let's look at the other design decisions. It's an aluminum body. That means it's all got to be hand-built, no steel presses. That's maybe acceptable in this era for this expensive market. It has a ladder frame. That's the cheap way of putting a car together, as opposed to a space frame, the expensive way, which is kind of odd choice. Good quality suspension. What's our engine? A 3.6 liter cast iron pushrod V8. That's pretty American, but it's certainly acceptable. We can see over here the car gets 12 miles to the gallon. Amazing. And its 129 horsepower brings it to a top speed of 121 miles an hour. Tiny 12-inch rims with the chubbiest tires you've ever seen. The brakes are basically incapable of stopping the car, but that's to be expected. It's got a luxurious interior with a premium radio, and the best safety you can get in the 1940s. Which is to say, maybe it has a seatbelt. Now we ought to have a proper name for it, and of course, we're going to let the computer do that too. This vehicle is the Coreopsis. Sure. Now all that's left to do is pop it out to BeamNG. Alright, let's give the Coreopsis a run on the automation test track. Slow right off the line, but it gets going. It's not the biggest fan of steering on the other hand. Oh! Yep, totally saved it. Ah, never mind. Honestly, I've built cars that handle worse than Beam. bumper's just flopping around like it's made of plastic. We'll look past that. It really does get up to its top speed here. I can even kinda sorta handle it at that speed, although it's very unstable. Uh-oh, time to see those brakes. True to the description, it really can slow down at about 70 meters. That's probably just sloppy driving, but I'll blame it on the car. Now for our next car, we're going to go out of the early era of 1946 up to 1955. Got a lot of new technology now. We're not making anything so opulent as a Grand Tour. No, let's ask the AI to make us a budget commuter car in 1955. This would be your Volkswagen Beetle or something you'll like. We'll see what it comes up with. This is what the car looks like without paint on it. We've got a new monocoque chassis, the hot new technology of the 50s, making our car much lighter and sturdier. It's got double wishbone suspension in the front, which is kind of an expensive choice, and a semi-trailing arm rear. The engine is a teeny tiny 1.5 liter 4-cylinder. There's certainly nothing impressive about it. It makes 48.7 horsepower, and it revs all the way to not quite 5,000 RPM. Sounds like this. Look at those tires. This is a complete contrast to our Grand Tour with a massive amount of rubber. These are radial tires, which can be constructed much smaller, but for some reason it has 16-inch wheels, which are just enormous in 1955. It really looks quite odd. The car gets to a top speed of 92.7 miles an hour, which is impressive for less than 50 horsepower, and it shows a manual transmission. And this car is named the Cobbler. The Cobbler. This thing has about the power of a Volkswagen Beetle, but I think it's bigger and heavier. It doesn't exactly turn. That was at street speeds. Well, it certainly goes faster downhill. That exhaust just looks like bad emissions. Note, the suspension is highly flexible. Alright, going flat out. Ooh, can we get that 90 miles an hour? It's really struggling past 80. And 92. Well, it's uphill now. All is lost. Oh yeah, I forgot we can't steer either. Next, we're moving through the timeline to 1965. I'll make a little pit stop and try something I haven't tried before. A heavy delivery vehicle. Numbers aren't looking good. Apparently this is not as good as the average heavy delivery vehicle. Or would it be 100 competitiveness here? So it's worse than apparently the other heavy delivery cars AI has designed. Let's get a look at it. What a car! This looks like it ought to be a muscle car almost. Only it's the delivery version of a station wagon. What makes it delivery is it hasn't got a window up here. Otherwise, this is awfully low Well, they're not awfully low because it's got a ladder frame and 2 solid axles. This thing's built just like a proper truck, but the body choice is what you'd expect a normal car to be made on, not a delivery vehicle. I don't think the AI understands what it's looking for. Looking at the engine, we've got a V6 at 3.7 liters, still using push rods. And this is making 120 horsepower, so it's almost catching up with our 1946 Gran Tourer, the I can't pronounce it car. We have switched to unleaded fuel. It's good to see the AI being environmentally conscious. And it's got 1 muffler. That sounds pretty good for a weird delivery van. Rear-wheel drive paired up with an auto-tragic 3-speed gives us a top speed of 111 miles an hour and a 0 to 60 of 12 seconds. And drum brakes all around! Oh yes, there's disc brakes now. It's 1960s, but we're not getting any. And the ride height is 430 millimeters, which is, I guess, the lowest it could go on these leaf springs. I don't think there's any benefit, by the way, to choosing leaf springs in the front, and oddly enough, it's chosen standard springs. If it had progressive, like you'd want on any delivery vehicle, it could hold literally twice as much load capacity. Ah, this is interesting. If you do put progressive springs on it, it decides that the load capacity is so enormous that the brakes can't handle it. Our heavy delivery muscle wagon truck is named the Mazus. The Mazus feels like it belongs here. We're gonna find out if it can beat the Coreopsis. We've got pretty similar power numbers. I don't really know what's gonna happen. Disqualify for jumping the start. Thanks, automatic transmission. Yeah, that was a bad start. Even if I hadn't screwed it up, I don't think the Mazus is faster. 81 miles an hour. As for handling, you can actually go off-road just fine. Thanks to its extremely truck-like suspension design. Only it spins its tires a lot on the dirt. That's as far as it goes. It certainly spins its tires everywhere. Being supposedly a delivery van, it's geared real low to handle the extra weight. Nope. 1975. We're getting to the modern era now. And I'm going to ask the AI to build us a a hypercar. Okay, it doesn't look like I expect a supercar to look, but I guess this is more of a ultimate muscle car, maybe. We've got an aluminum space frame construction. That means it's pretty much hand-built. Double wishbones, the most expensive suspension. The engine is a 5-liter dual overhead cam V8, making 400 horsepower. Gas mileage of This thing's gonna be loud. Rear-wheel drive and nothing but a 5-speed manual to control it with. There's no locking diffs yet. on 20-inch rims in 1975. I don't know what would have 20-inch rims except a giant military truck. Oh yeah, it's probably worth mentioning this thing has got 0 to 60 in 6 seconds and 190 miles an hour top speed. I bet I won't be able to hit that. With loads of wheel spin. Our hypercar is named the Katipo. What's this tiny muscle car with big wheels do? It certainly makes a loud noise. Oh my god. There's the wheel spin in second gear. Oh yeah. No limited slip diff means it's a one tire fire. It's fast. It's about the only good thing I can say about it. It's a little more controllable if I don't let the AI choose what to shift for me. If I let the AI build the car. Yeah, I think there's no two ways about it. This is a massive engine and the rest of the car just isn't up to snuff. How do we handle the high-speed corner? Oh, just. Oh, I spun the tires at 100 miles an hour. Almost lost it there. Yep, just use the sand trap to slow down. Say donuts are about what this car is good for. Ski jump. Really, what BeamNG videos do you think without it? Well, a good one, that's what. But I came here to smash this piece of shit. What was that? 250 meters? Coreopsis goes pretty far. I don't think the Cobbler is going to impress much here. In fact, I wonder if we're going to hit the red line just from the speed coming downhill. And the answer to that is yes, we are. This thing's not geared to go any higher. Oh, about 180. Bonus points for landing on the wheels, though. The Mazus has real tall suspension, should handle the bumpy part well. Yeah, it was built for this. Once again, we're maxed out on speed. Well, the suspension's up to the task going off the jump, but the brakes are no good. The Katipo again. I don't know if I can keep this under control. Just go gentle on the throttle, I guess. Oh. Nope. Attempt number 2. Now with even gentler throttle. Fifth gear. There you have it. No surprise that one was. I have to admit, out of all our AI-generated cars today, the Coreopsis seems to be the least disastrous. Despite being built on ancient technology, it's got a little bit of power, and it still handles it okay.